How long has it been since you went through this press thing together?
The press thing, well, it's been quite a number of years, probably too many to mention, really. Maybe 20 something.
Yeah, doing press together over 20 years, because this is the first OMD album for 14 years, but the first one we made together for 24 years. So a long time ago.
What has changed on the press thing? I mean,
I think what's changed is the climate, really. I mean, I think we have to be less defensive of our past. I mean, I think we were always up in the 80s. We were always up against, you know, playing synthesizers. Why are you playing synthesizers? Why are they such a cold instrument? You know, but we're beyond that now, because I mean, when we started playing instruments, we were playing synthesizers. We were always up against sort of rock journalists, you know, who didn't see us as real music because we didn't have guitars and drum kits and traditional, you know, instruments, really.
So yeah, that's certainly for us in terms of talking to people. That's the biggest change. But I mean, one of the other biggest difference in terms of the press is there's lots more internet press than written press or television press.
Yeah. You played together, I believe, 5 years ago for the first time in a long time in Germany, right?
Yeah.
Who called who? How did that come about?
I called him.
Yeah, Andy called me. I mean, since the band stopped, there's always been, there's been continuing interest in the band, and we've been kept being asked to do things like produce other bands or do TV shows and things like that. But the timing was never right to do things. But anyway, one TV show came through Andy, and it was like a trip to Germany to do just a weekend away. You know, all expenses paid. And he phoned me and said, "Hey, do you fancy getting away from the wife and kids and going for a weekend in Germany?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." And we put the whole band together, and we had so much fun over that weekend that we thought, you know, we started to discuss future possibilities.
How did that gig feel, with you being back together again?
Well, I mean, initially we just did a TV show, and then playing live was actually a big step. I mean, I had stopped. We were not Orchestral Manoeuvres in the Dark anymore. Nobody was. And I had not sung live for 13 years. So it was a bit, you know, I was very nervous. So we took little steps slowly. And then 3 years ago, the whole band got together. And that was hard work. We really having to shake the rust off, you know. It took a long time, but it got great. And we've been playing live now for over 3 years, and it's fantastic.
When did the idea come up to play in the original lineup again? Because you weren't in Germany, right?
Yeah, no, well, I mean, when we first started, they just wanted two of us. We started the band, so we're considered the original members, and that was an easy step, because we were just doing a few songs with an orchestra. We didn't have to do a whole hour and a half ourselves, so that was just the first step. When that worked out, then we decided it was time to take the next step with the whole band.
And when was the last time you played in that combination?
Just two people or four?
Oh, with the four of you?
With the four, it must have been the late 80s.
Yeah, that had been the late 80s, but the last time now was 3 weeks ago. We played a big festival in Germany.
but the name OMD has been used in different outfits. You used it after you split up, and you used it as well.
Not really.
After that, playing live, right?
No, I didn't really use the name, no.
The promoters tried to say it was OMD.
Okay.
Yeah, which I had to fight against.
But were you never afraid that would like damage the thing you had built up together as a two-piece initially and as a four-piece later?
Not really damaged. No, I mean, when we decided to call it a day as the two of us in the sort of late 80s. It seemed, I mean, there was a lot of pressures for the name to continue, pressures from record companies and management, because there was contracts and stuff. So it seemed like one person should take it, and Andy carried on without me, which I was fine about, because particularly as the next album he released was successful. So it was like, okay, well, the name is continuing on, and the legacy of OMD is continuing. So I'm happy with that. Yeah,
how did you feel about that? Andy being alone with that name and making those albums?
I didn't mind. It was a bit strange to hear an OMD song on the radio that I had nothing to do with, you know. But I kind of got used to it, and I was fine that Andy was continuing on, really.
Yeah, but I do remember the first time I met him in '91, when I was back in the charts again as OMD without him. The first thing he said was, "I'm really glad that Sailing on the Seven Seas," which was the song we had out, only got to number 3, so it's not higher than my song Souvenir.
I did say that.
But was everyone as enthusiastic as he was about you being?
It was very weird. No, I think a lot of people found it strange, you know, that how can Andy be OMD with some other people? Yeah, it was difficult. I would have preferred to continue with Paul, but we'd just gone in totally different directions. You know, sometimes things just don't work out, whether it's the personality or the wrong timing or outside pressures. I think a lot of outside pressures were on us, pulling us in different directions. So this is why this is now great, you know, because we've been writing songs together since we were 16. We went to the same school together. We've known each other since we were about 7 years old. So it feels good we're back together now. Yeah.